All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Zowe Sprint system demo. This is the system demo for version 124. And we have a number of squads that we'll be presenting. The first one is the CLI squad, and I think we have Fernando who will be presenting the Zowe config secure experience. Go ahead, Fernando, you can share your screen.
All righty, let me get this going. Hopefully you all can see my screen in a moment and hear me okay.
Yes.
There we go. So hi everyone, Fernando here from the CLI squad. And today I just wanted to cover a small section of one of our PI objectives, and that is the consistent login experience for various configurations. The idea here is to reduce the number of things that users should care about when they are storing information securely whenever they're given a configuration file, right? So I'm just gonna kind of start jumping right into it here. So say that they're given, for example, this configuration file, they're going to be working with kicks and COSMF, right? They're given the host port, and securely they're going to store username and password for that service, COSMF with a base path, which means we're going to be going through API ML, and of course host and port, as well as the token type, which is going to be the important thing here, token type and token value. The token value is going to be the secure property. And the token type is going to be corresponding to the API mediation layer. In such configuration, the experience that we had before, let me just clear this out. The experience that we had before was that people were not, or people had to know the token values by themselves, right? Because whenever they did, I'm just going to be using cdemo for my CLI command. Whenever they did so we could fix secure, the CLI was going to prompt them for all the secure properties, secure values, right? As you saw, we had kicks. So I'm just going to enter that information, my username and my password for kicks, right? But again, it's going to ask me for a token value. Not everyone's going to know that off the top of their head, right? And there are other CLI commands that sort of allow you to get that information. So the command that they are likely need to be running is, yeah, I don't know my token value, so I'm now going to have to do auth login API ML with a property saying show token, because they need to see this, right, in order to get going with the configuration file that they were provided, right? So I'm just going to execute that command. It's again going to prompt me for username and password. That I'm just showing here the experience from before. Perfect. Now I can grab that token. Clear the screen, and I can do again my config secure. It's going to prompt me for username and password. For the kicks, I can skip that by hitting enter, and for the token value, I'm just going to paste that in, hit enter, and now I should be able to do Zowe or cdemo in my case. Let's do files list, some system data set. I don't know. Should be good enough, I think. And they can get going right after doing all that for just getting the token. But after the nice experience that we have after completing that first part of the objective is that by just being given the configuration file, they can get going with a single command, Zowe cdemo config secure, and that what that's going to do, it's again prompt for username password for kicks, since those are two of the secure properties, username password, and now it's not going to prompt me for the token value. It knows, since the token type it corresponds to the API mediation layer, it's then going to ask me, since the CLI already knows about this, going to ask me for username and password for the mediation layer, right? So I'm just going to do that, and it automatically is going to store that token that I had to manually copy and paste for me in the same secure properties file in my vault, and I can do the same thing. Just listen a quick data set to prove that it works, and wow, kind of slow. Boom, there we go. That it's pretty much it. I'm want to open it now for questions and any comments that anyone may have.
Fernando, this is a great demo. This code is available
At Next.
at Next. Okay, that's why I wanted to check. Okay, thanks.
Yep. Any comments, questions? And of course, App Next or VNext is going to be available on Zowe V2 LTS hopefully next year.
Right. Yep.
Hi, Fernando, this is Vita. I've got one question. What
Yep.
was the basis for the detection that API ML should be used?
It is two items really, whether you have a token value securely stored or in your secure array, and the token type. We do know that, or we do already have this defined as a known API ML token. If it is of type API ML authentication token, then we know you're trying to log in or try to authenticate to go through the API mediation layer for your services.
I see. Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question as well. This is Lauren, and
Hey,
I was
Lauren.
wondering, hi, I was wondering, is this something that will have support for extenders? Like if they have tokens, would they be able to hook into this and also use or implement some sort of thing like this?
The APIs are available that makes this possible. I don't know if it is like all in a single API call where you can get the prompting capabilities for API mediation layer once it is detected, right? But I believe it is possible to put it in just all a single API call, for example, inside of the profile info APIs.
Awesome, thanks.
Fernando, will this also be available in the tech preview?
It should already be available in today's, or not today's, but the one that went out on Friday, I think it was, or Thursday last week or something. Yeah, it should be available over there on Zowe.org on the tech
Okay.
preview. If no other comments, questions, feel free to reach out to anyone on the squad, myself, Mike Bauer, or anyone on the team included. And thank you for your time. Back to you, Nick.
All right, thank you, Fernando. All right, I think some people are having issues joining, so I might move things around. I see Andrej, you're on from the API ML squad. Are you able to present now?
Yeah, sure, I can.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so I will present two things today, as David is on sick leave, so I will show also his demo. The first thing is just an announcement that with new release, the API ML now supports AT-TLS, which starts with this research and now goes to fully supporting AT-TLS. That means that as a client can reach all the functionality that are in the HTTPS mode. It's now supported in the AT-TLS, while all the encryption is handled by Zowe's communication server. All the documentation that's needed for or to set up the API mediation layer, this profile can be found in Zowe docs. So it's enough to just set the Spring profiles to active in the instance env and disable the API-ML SSL. One thing, be careful, is that for the correct functionality of client certificates, there is a need to provide configuration of the keyrings because of API-ML is filtering the server certificates which it is using, so they are not mixed. There is this one requirement that needs to be aware of those certificates so they can be correctly filtered out. So basically that's all related to AT-TLS. Do you have any questions related to this?
I guess my question is, does this mean that we now have AT-TLS across the board? Because I know ZSS had documentation for how to do it, but I don't know if it's ever been tested for like the app server or the web explorers.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's more like the initial work of providing the AT-TLS and the whole Zowe, or one of the first steps, as you said, the first one was in the ZSS, but I don't think that it's for the whole project.
I think the app server one might just work because you can tell the app server to run in HTTP mode, which is, you know, what you need to do here as well. I'd have to look into the web explorers, see if they can do that. And then of course, check if our static definition files are correct when we do that. But I think they would be, because we would still be saying HTTPS on the outside. So yeah, I'll ask the squad to see if they've run into this yet. But that's good that we now have more support for it. Thanks.
Yeah, we also wanted to test it on Marist environment, but it's more in the initial phase. So I think it's more to come in the future. Okay, so there are no other questions. They said David is not able to join, so he recorded the video. Unfortunately, I think you won't hear the sound. So I will try to forward this message to you and then post the, or I don't know if I can post that video in the general channel, Slack channel, so you can see it all with his comments. So what I will be talking about is the support for refresh tokens, or the support to refresh your JWT token when it's going to expire. So was part of the issue 1625, which requirement was to provide a method to exchange by token for token with longer expiration date. So we created a new endpoint. It's on the auth/refresh. This endpoint is similar to query endpoint. It's protected by X509, so it's only for trusted clients that can now exchange their API-ML WT token for a new token with longer expiration date. Basically, how that works will be shown later in his demonstration. This endpoint is not enabled by default. You need to enable it in the instance env with the environment variable API-ML security allow token refresh to set it to true. This functionality we support it for both authentication provider. That means it's for SAF and also for ZOSMF. In the case of ZOSMF, one thing that's important to mention is that for API-ML to be able to provide a new token, it needs to log in to ZOSMF. So it's generating pass tickets for the user in the token. Therefore, you need to specify correct ZOSMF Apple ID. So you need to have a correct pass ticket set up on the system, which is documented in the Zowe docs. Can skip this. There is documentation, which will be available in the new version. It's 1.24 when it's released. And I can now show the demo. Can you see there are no cookies? We'll try to log in. So he saved the returned cookies. And now he's calling the new refresh endpoint. He's not providing anything, just have his client configured with valid client certificate, and he has the API-ML token in the cookies. You can see he received the new token. Copy that. Now, as you can see, those tokens are unique, and we will decode them so we can see what's inside of those tokens. So as you can see, they have the different issue at times and expiration times. Basically, they are different cookies. Now he took the old cookie and he will try to query this token in the gateway. The old cookie is unauthorized, so it's invalidated in the gateway and also in the ZOSMF. And now you can see that once he changed to a new cookie, which he get from a refresh endpoint, he's able to query it and the token is valid. So basically that's it for this functionality. Do you have any questions? Okay, if not, then I will stop sharing the screen and give word back.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, looks good. Thanks for the commentary.
Well, I hope I didn't miss anything.
All right, again, I'm just moving things around here. Sean, are you okay to present?
Sure. Yeah, just give me a moment here to ready my environment. The first thing that I want to talk about is basically the ability for the desktop to show error messages that are useful. That really wasn't the case in prior releases whenever the desktop couldn't log in. It would basically just tell you that one of the plugins failed to accomplish the login, but it wouldn't tell you the reason. And this was due to basically that. Hold on a second, I'm still trying to set it up. The problem with this demo is that I need to set up the server within a few minutes of testing it in order to show you a login failure. So basically, the servers themselves, if you had some issue with login, the servers in their responses would give you some information, but that information was never shown in the desktop UI. So you just got a generic failure message instead of a very descriptive one. So let me share my screen here and show you how this changes. As soon as things are ready to run, then I'll be able to log in and show you it. So one of the failure cases that we run into at Rocket anyway is that the mediation layer exists before login can actually be attempted, and the app server starts up quicker. So if I log in very quickly, sometimes I'll get this message. It's like error code 503, which basically means try again soon. And so I'd like to try and reproduce that message because it's one of the failure cases that I hope will help out here. Okay, so I got the desktop, and if I try to log in, I get here. I used to just get a generic message that just said login failed for plugin SSO auth, but now I get sort of the direct message from well, which thing failed, and then I have an expandable box that tells me a little bit more about the source of that error. But generally speaking, this one is just, oh, the mediation layer doesn't exist yet. So let me try again, see if I get a different message. Right, now I get the 503 message about we're just not ready yet. Hopefully, maybe we could add some more information to that in the future. But I just know I've always seen 503 as the message for try again soon. So when I finally get to it, okay, so now we're in. Let's try a different error. If I can shut down the ZSS server, I should get a different error about, well, I can't reach the ZSS server. So let me try that. It's a little bit hard to find all of the ZSS servers here. Oh, well, that's a bit verbose. Okay, let me try. Here's the ZSS server. Okay, so I'll just stop those in particular. And then let me try login again. Right, now I got a 500 that I can't contact ZSS. And this could tell me potentially more information. Hey, I tried to reach this URL and I couldn't. connection refused. So this is already much, much better than we used to have, where it would just tell you, sorry, couldn't log in. So from here, you know, things could get better and better, but we're basically displaying exactly what the server tells us. So if we want even more information, then in the future, maybe we could improve what the server is telling us in the first place. But that's sort of feature number one in this release. Is just making this login message more useful. Potentially people could self-diagnose, but definitely if they sent us these messages, we would know right away what the problem was. So moving on to the next part of the demo is just, now that we're in the desktop, we have some new security here. I'm not sure if my browser is going to tell me it directly, but one of the new things in this version anyway is that the desktop now is TLS 1.3 if available. And the way that this works is that we have a set of ciphers that we will use in the desktop. And, you know, we curate this cipher list. If there are ciphers that become vulnerable in the future, we'll remove some. If there are new ones, we'll add some. And what we found is that the TLS 1.3 ciphers are mutually exclusive with the 1.2 ones. And if we added them, node version, I believe, 12 and up supports TLS 1.3. So just by including these ciphers, Node automatically picked up that 1.3 is now available. This is backwards compatible. This list will not request ciphers that aren't available in certain versions of Node. So if you're still running Node 8, you will not get TLS 1.3. You will continue to get 1.2. But for everyone else running the most recent version of Node, now they get 1.3. I believe the rest of Zowe is still on 1.2. I could be wrong, but it's just sort of, this is something that we had been talking about in the past, is can we get to 1.3 soon? And it seems like, at least in the case of Node programs, it shouldn't be too difficult. So yeah, that's it for me.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you, Sean. Okay, the next squad is the Explorers squad. I think Jeffin is having problems logging in, so I'll give him a little bit more time. Caitlin, are you okay to present?
Maybe give me like 5 minutes. I apologize.
Okay, all right. Tina, are you okay to present?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I will share my screen. Oh, sorry. The browser is prevent my sharing. Sorry, I can't share my screen now.
Okay, do you want to just talk through your demo or not sure?
Okay. This demo is for validate the profile, the ZFTP Zowe FTP extension profile. It is implemented by checking the FTP connection. If the connection, the FTP connected to server successfully, it will be marked as inactive status. Else, it will be marked as the inactive status and return the error code, the reason. In the VS Code screen, the active status will show the green colors in the profile part, and the inactive profile is in red colors. And when click the search button, it will it will start the check, the validation check. When the check found the connection is in inactive status, it will return an error message in the right corner to tell user the reason, like the invalidate credentials. Yes, I think that is the functions. Sorry for the sharing.
That's all right. What's going on with the screen share? Just doesn't want to turn on?
I think maybe I updated the browser. Some setting are not right.
Oh, I see. You're in the call via the browser, like part of Zoom, not the app.
All right, well, yeah, I guess we can, next time, for the next call, you can just maybe do a quick test before the call. Okay, moving on. Let's see, Caitlin, are you okay now?
Yeah, I think I can go ahead and show you guys.
All right, go ahead.
It should work. I'm on Zoom. It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, all right, I can fix that.
Regarding Tina's screen sharing, actually, I think I have her branch and I can load it up if she wants to, if you want to use that and take a look at it.
That could work.
I think you would also have to enable me to share screen too, though.
Okay, I'm sorry, who's talking?
This is Lauren.
Okay, all right.
And I don't have my screen set up yet. I just have her branch pulled up. But I can set that up quickly. I don't know if you want Caitlin to go first since she's, I think, prepared, or if
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Caitlin.
Thank you, Larry.
Alright. Let's see here.
Yep.
So I guess you guys should be able to see it now.
Yes.
Alrighty. So basically, what we added this PI, we're trying to allow extenders of Zowe Explorer to have access to the imperative logger in a very particular way, so that the error messages that they're sending have like a standard format that matches Zowe Explorer and VS Code. So basically, we offer that to them now. We have a little bit more work to make Zowe Explorer and the Zowe Explorer FTP extension work with our new logging setup. But for now, any other extenders that are using the Zowe Explorer API can start using the setup. So basically what you have here, I guess I'll show you the application of it before I show you how it works. You can just see here that we have a test error. And basically what this is whatever the name of the extension, when the logger is initialized, the extender will pass the name of the extension in, and then we would just use that forever on after with the instance of the logger that's been created. So whatever the extender wants to report to users, it's going to do it in a very standardized way. As you can see here, you have the Zowe Explorer extension template. That's the name of our extension here. And then it's going to report the error that you have here. Let's see here. And I have too many tabs open. And if you see here as well, another thing that this sort of standardized logging approach does is it will store the errors for the user in the imperative log files. So if you can see past this darn toolbar for Zoom, it's going to report the errors here, and it's also going to tell you which extension it came from, which can be useful if you have multiple Zowe extensions. You know, you want it to know that it's from Zowe Explorer or Zowe FTP extension or whatever. So it says there's an error in this particular extension, and then it will tell you what that might be. And this is done standardly. So if you're using the reporting function, you can report things in VS Code, but also if you decide to extend Zowe Explorer with some code that doesn't use VS Code's visual interface, then you can still do that, and it will still log the error to the imperative log file, even if you're not using the Zowe Explorer packages and API. And basically what you have here is the initialization of that. So this is the initialization of the entire Zowe Explorer. This is like a test extension for VS Code. So this is like the basic stuff for initializing this. And then when you get down here, you have the actual initialization of the Zowe Explorer logger. So we're going to make a new instance of that. And we're going to pass in the name of the extension. And we're going to pass in the location of the log file. And then forever after that, you can just call this throughout your extension. You just need to use the logger instance that you created. And you have two different functions, one that will just log the imperative message, and then you have another one specific to VS Code, which will allow you to both show the VS Code message and log to the console. We have a little bit of severity support here, and this should also accept localized messages. So anybody who is interested in extending Zowe Explorer now should be producing sort of standardized error messages that will look just like the VS Code messages, or also the Zowe messages from Zowe Explorer, from CLI, all of that stuff. So that's what I got. And if nobody has any questions, I will stop sharing.
All right. Lauren, are you ready to go?
Let's hope mine goes a bit better than the rest of the squad, as I guess our squad's not having a lucky day. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and hopefully it'll work. You should be seeing my VS Code open now.
Yes.
So I have 3 profiles here. One of them is called Zowe CLI. That's a ZOSMF connection. Then I have the 2 that have ZFTP in their name, and those are my ZFTP profiles. And that concerns what Tina was talking about. So one of the things she was mentioning was when you do a search, it'll do a profile validation. And this is something that we've had in, that's something we've had ZOSMF support for a while now. And but for extenders, they also need to hook into those APIs to be able to display those functions as well, or use those functionalities as well. So for ZFTP, this is my one with good credentials. And you can see it's got a green check here. I probably should have pointed to the little icon before I did this. Let me reset this really quick. So when it's not verified, you'll get a clear circle here. Once you do a search, it'll ping the server, make sure that connection is good. And if it is, you get a green check like this, and then you can, do your search like usual. Let me do a little search. And then if your connection is not good, like say I've got, like I'm not connected to the VPN to get to my server, it'll show a red check. And I think it also does this if you've got a bad password. But Tina, can you correct me if I'm wrong on this? If
Okay.
If your credentials are not correct, does it also give you the red circle? So this one has bad credentials. I'm going to go ahead and do the search for it, and it will give me an error saying it's inactive and also that I've got invalid credentials. But you can see as well the status icon is red, not green. And there's also some shape difference too. So for color blindness, we have a check mark showing, it's really small, but it's a check mark there showing that that's, good to go. And then we've got like a little warning sign there if it's not inactive or if it's not a good connection. And that's something that's implemented in Zowe Explorer that extenders can hook into. So for Tina, she hooked into those abilities, and now we can use them for ZFTP as well in the Zowe Explorer FTP extension. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Tina, or show?
Oh no, that's great. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Larry.
Well, thank you for implementing this. It's really cool. We've been wanting this for a while.
And thank you for showing us. Now we have the visual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, thank you, everyone. So there is one more presenter, Jeffin, but I think he's having, oh, I see him now. Jeffin, are you with us?
Hey, Nick. Yeah, I was having some issues with Zoom. So I still can't get it to work on my IBM laptop, but I've sort of transferred the presentation to my personal laptop, so I could still share my screen and show most of it.
Okay, that's great. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Yep, sure. Sorry, 1 minute. Yep, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Cool. So I'll be giving a quick overview of the Zowe Explorer's profile cache API and how it benefits extenders. So just to give some context, Joe Winchester, myself, and Andrew, who was the previous placement student, had been working on the Zowe Explorer for IBM Kix VS Code extension, which is a tool that extends the Zowe Explorer and helps Kix developers manage Kix resources in a similar way to how datasets can be manipulated in the datasets view of the Zowe Explorer. So we had several issues with managing profiles. So extenders like the Kix extension previously couldn't easily access the list of loaded profiles from the Zowe Explorer's API. And initially we copied and pasted large chunks of code from the Zowe Explorer and modified it to get Kix profiles as well as the defaults. So as you can see here, we basically copied a lot of code, and a lot of code was reused, and it wasn't nicely written at all. And also, as you can see, it involves getting the YAML files directly to get the credentials from the secure credential store. And all in all, it wasn't a good solution at all. And there was also no way of registering an external API or tree to the Zowe Explorer, which meant that we had to register a new dataset API to get it working and showing up. But again, this wasn't the proper use case for that register method. And again, it led us to more problems. So I'm not sure if you can see. So I've got a quick screen recording of what it was like before Profiles Cache. So here I'm going to the Kix extension. I've clicked the plus icon to create a new Kix profile. And I'm creating a profile called 3B Kix, filling in all the details. And I've already created the profile, so it appears on the bottom left as a profile in the Kix view, which is all good. And I can press the plus icon to get it loaded. But the problem that we had was that if I press the plus icon on the datasets view of the Zowe Explorer, the 3B Kix also comes in as a profile that I could load in, along with my ZOSMF profiles. So as you can see, my 3B ZOSMF profile is in the datasets view, as well as my 3B Kix, which is something that we did not want. And I can actually load in both my ZOSMF profiles and my Kix profiles to the datasets view, which again is not something that we want. So these were the major drawbacks, but it also meant that we couldn't do anything else with profiles. So for example, updates, hides, delete, etc., that you can do with the Zowe Explorer on the datasets view, for example. And this is where the profiles cache comes in. So the profiles cache API allowed us to register a new profile to be loaded in by the Zowe Explorer and therefore be available for us to use. So as you can see in this screenshot of the documentation for the profiles cache in the Zowe Explorer docs, registering a custom profile is as simple as calling the init for Zowe method and then registering the custom profile with the register method provided by the profiles cache API. And there's also a new way to register it within the Zowe Explorer as well, which gets rid of all our issues and allowing us to work with profiles properly and perform all the required commands. And essentially, profiles cache allows us to easily hook into Zowe Explorer's abilities when manipulating Kix profiles, rather than having to develop that existing code all over again, which makes our lives as extenders extremely easy. So we can now manipulate Kix profiles, so we can hide them, remove them, delete them, etc. And I did want to show you this, but obviously I'm using my personal laptop, so I don't have it set up at the moment. But the previous issue of the Kix profiles loading in with the ZOSMF profiles has been alleviated as well, thanks to the methods implemented by profiles cache. I think that's it from me. Are there any questions, comments from anyone? If not, I could hand it back over to you, Nick.
All right, thank you, Jeffin. Okay, that's basically it for the agenda for today. I guess I can open it up. Are there any questions, comments, and anybody has on anything presented? Okay, if not, then we can end the call for today. Thanks everyone for attending. Have a good day.
Good stuff. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.